The Miracle Morning is the most practical, results-oriented, and life-transforming method I have ever encountered for improving every aspect of your life. For high achievers, the Miracle Morning is a total game changer, allowing you to attain that elusive next level and take your personal and professional success far beyond what you've achieved in the past. While this can include increasing your income, growing your business, sales, or revenue, it's often more about discovering new ways to experience deeper levels of fulfillment and balance in areas of your life that you may have neglected. This can mean making significant improvements with your health, happiness, relationships, finances, spirituality, or any other areas that are at the top of your list. For those who are in the midst of adversity, enduring times of struggle, be it mental, emotional, physical, financial, or relational, the Miracle Morning has proven time and time again to be the one thing that can empower anyone to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges, make major breakthroughs, and turn their circumstances around, often in a very short period of time. Whether you want to make significant improvements in just a few key areas, or you are ready for a major overhaul which will radically transform your entire life so your current circumstances will soon become only a memory, you've picked up the right book. You are about to begin a miraculous journey using a revolutionary process that is guaranteed to transform any or every area of your life, all before 8 a.m. The Miracle Morning has already transformed the lives of thousands of people around the world, including my own, and it can absolutely be the catalyst to transform yours. I consider it a great honor to share this with you now, and I have done everything in my power to ensure that this book will truly be a life-changing investment of your time, energy, and attention. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life. A miraculous journey together is about to begin. With love and gratitude, always. Yo pal, Al. Introduction. My story and why yours is the one that matters. December 3rd, 1999. Life was good. No, it was great. At 20 years old, my first year of college was behind me. I had spent the last 18 months becoming one of the top producing distributors for a $200 million marketing company, earning more money than I'd ever imagined I would at that age. I had a loving girlfriend, a supportive family, and the best friends a guy could ask for. I was truly blessed. You might say I was on top of the world. There was no way I could have known that this was the night my world would end. 11:32 p.m. Driving 70 miles per hour southbound on Highway 99. We'd left the restaurant and our friends behind. It was just the two of us now. My girlfriend, tired from the evening's events, was dozing in the passenger seat. Not me. I was wide awake, eyes glued to the road in front, waving my finger in the air like a baton as I quietly conducted the melodies of Tchaikovsky. Still in a state of euphoria from the night's events, sleep was the furthest thing from my mind. Rocketing down the freeway at 70 miles per hour in my brand new white Ford Mustang, I was only 2 hours removed from giving the best speech of my life. I had received my first standing ovation, and I was elated. In fact, I desperately wanted to shout out my feelings of gratitude to anyone that would listen. But my girlfriend was asleep, so she was no use. I considered calling Mom and Dad, but it was late. They might already be in bed. Should have called. But I simply had no way of knowing that moment would be my last opportunity to speak to my parents, or anyone, for quite some time. An unimaginable reality, or anyone, for quite some time. An unimaginable reality. Of a massive Chevrolet truck coming directly at me. In an instant of perverse fate, the full-size Chevy pickup, traveling at an estimated 80 miles per hour, smashed head-on into my undersized and undermatched Ford Mustang. The following seconds played out in slow motion, Tchaikovsky's commanding melodies orchestrating our wicked dance. The metal frames of our two vehicles collided, screaming and screeching as they twisted and broke. The Mustang's airbags exploded with enough force to render us unconscious. My brain, still traveling at 70 miles per hour, smashed into the front of my skull, destroying much of the vital brain tissue that made up my frontal lobe. Upon impact, the tail end of my Mustang was shoved into the lane on my right, making my driver's side door an unavoidable target for the car behind me. A Saturn sedan, driven by a 16-year-old, crashed into my door at 70 miles per hour. The door collapsed into the left side of my body. The frame of the metal roof caved in on my head, slicing open my skull and nearly severing my left ear. The bones of my left eye socket were crushed, leaving my left eyeball dangerously unsupported. My left arm broke, severing the radial nerve in my forearm and shattering my elbow, while my fractured humerus bone pierced the skin behind my bicep. My pelvis was given the impossible task of separating the Saturn's front end from my car's center console, and failed. It fractured in 3 separate places. Finally, my femur, the largest bone in the human body, snapped in half, and one end speared through the skin of my thigh and tore a hole in my black dress slacks. Blood was everywhere. My body was destroyed. My brain was permanently damaged. Unable to withstand the immense physical pain, my body shut down. My blood pressure dropped, and everything went black as I plunged into a coma. You only live twice. What happened next was nothing short of incredible. What many have called a miracle. The emergency rescue teams arrived, and using the jaws of life, firefighters cut my bloody body from the wreckage. When they did, I bled out. My heart stopped beating. I stopped breathing. Clinically, I was dead. The paramedics immediately put me on the rescue helicopter and worked determinedly to save my life. 6 minutes later, they succeeded. My heart started to beat again. I breathed clean oxygen. Thankfully, I was alive. I spent 6 days in a coma and woke to the news that I might never walk again. After 7 challenging weeks of recovery and rehabilitation in the hospital, learning to walk all over again, I was released to my parents' care, back into the real world. With 11 fractured bones, permanent brain damage, and a now ex-girlfriend who broke up with me in the hospital, life as I knew it would never be the same. Believe it or not, this would turn out to be a good thing. Well, coming to grips with my new reality wasn't easy, and at times I couldn't help but wonder, why did this happen to me? I had to take responsibility for getting my life back. Instead of complaining about how things should be, I embraced how things were. I stopped putting energy into wishing my life were any different, into wishing bad things didn't happen to me, and instead focused 100% on making the best of what I had. Since I couldn't change the past, I focused on moving forward. I dedicated my life to fulfilling my potential and achieving my dreams, so I could discover how to empower others to do the same. And as a result of choosing to be genuinely grateful for all that I had, unconditionally accepting of all that I didn't, and accepting total responsibility for creating all that I wanted, this potentially devastating car accident ultimately became one of the best things that ever happened to me. Hinging on my belief that everything happens for a reason, but that it is our responsibility to choose the most empowering reasons for the challenges, events, and circumstances of our lives, I used my accident to fuel a triumphant comeback. 2000. A year that begins with me lying in a hospital bed, broken but not defeated, ends quite differently. Despite not having a car, even less of a short-term memory, equipped with every excuse in the world to sit at home and feel sorry for myself, I returned to my sales position at Cutco. I had the best year in my career and finished number 6 in the company, amongst over 60,000 active sales reps. All this while still recovering physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially from my wreck. 2001. Having learned some invaluable life lessons from my experience, it was time to turn my adversity into inspiration and empowerment for others. I started speaking and sharing my story at high schools and colleges. The responses from students and faculty were overwhelmingly positive, and I embarked on a mission to impact youth. 2002. My good friend, John Berghoff, encouraged me to write a book about my accident to further inspire others. So I started writing. As quickly as I started, I stopped. I'm no writer. Essays in high school were challenging enough, let alone a book. After repeated attempts that always ended with me staring at my computer screen, frustrated, it didn't look like a book was in the cards. I did, however, finish in Cutco's top 10 for the second year in a row. To try my hand at management, I accepted the position as sales manager for the Sacramento Cutco office. Our team went on to finish number 1 in the company and break the all-time annual record. That fall, I also reached my highest personal sales milestone and was inducted into the company's Hall of Fame. Feeling that I'd accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish with Cutco, it was time to pursue my dream of becoming a professional keynote motivational speaker. I might even write that book that had been swimming around in my head the last couple of years. I also met Ursula. We were inseparable, and I had this feeling that she could be the one. February 2005. Sitting in the audience at what I intended to be my last Cutco conference, I came to a painful realization. I've never fulfilled my potential. Sure, I'd won some awards and broken a few records, but watching from my seat as the 2 top performers collect the highest annual award that Cutco offers, the coveted Rolex, I realized that I'd never fully committed. At least, not for an entire year. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I left the company before fulfilling my potential. I had to give it 1 more year, but this time, I had to give it my all. 2005. Despite the late start to the year, I set a goal to nearly double my best sales year ever. I was terrified, but committed. I also concluded that I had an obligation to write that book and share my story with the world. I worked 365 days straight, selling and writing, with a level of discipline which eluded me the first 25 years of my life. I was fueled by passion to do what I had never done before, to venture from my painfully comfortable realm of mediocrity, from which I operated my entire life, into the space of being extraordinary. By the year's end, I reached both of my goals, more than doubling my previous best sales year and completing my first book. It's official. Anything is possible when you are committed. Spring 2006. My first book, Taking Life Head On: How to Love the Life You Have While You Create the Life of Your Dreams, hit number 7 on the Amazon bestseller list. Then, the unthinkable happened. My publisher fled the country with 100% of my best-selling royalties and was never heard from again. My parents were devastated. I was not. If there's one thing that I've learned from my car accident, it's that there is no point in dwelling on or feeling bad about the aspects of our lives that we can't change. So I didn't. I've also learned that by focusing on what we can learn from our challenges and how we use them to add value to the lives of others, We can turn any adversity into an advantage. So I did. 2006. With almost zero knowledge of what the profession entails, I accidentally became a life and business success coach when a 40-something financial advisor asked me if I would coach him. I agreed. I ended up loving it. My first client saw measurable results in his life and business, and I was passionate about helping others as their coach. At just 26, the odds of me succeeding as a professional coach were probably slim to none. But it's so in line with my purpose in life, I went for it anyway. My coaching business took off, and I went on to coach hundreds of entrepreneurs, salespeople, and business owners. Shortly after, I gave my first paid speech when I was hired by the Boys and Girls Club of America to be the featured keynote speaker at their national conference. Although I'd been speaking to large business audiences made up of primarily salespeople and managers since 1998, with my spiky hair, somewhat youthful appearance, and nickname Yo Pal Hal, impacting young people was the way to go. I started speaking and sharing my story at local high schools and colleges. 2007, the year my life fell apart. The United States economy crashed. Overnight, my income was cut in half. My clients couldn't afford coaching. I couldn't pay my bills, including my house payment. I was $425,000 in debt and devastated. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. I hit rock bottom. Never in my life have I felt so hopeless, overwhelmed, and depressed. At a loss for how to fix my life yet again, I desperately sought answers to insurmountable problems. I read self-help books, attended seminars, even hired a coach, but nothing worked. 2008, the year my life began to turn around. I finally confessed to a close friend how bad things had gotten, which I had successfully kept a secret up until this point. His question, "Are you exercising?" My answer, "I can barely get out of bed in the morning, so no." "Start running," he said. "It'll help you feel better and think clearer." Ugh, I hate running. I was desperate though, so I took his advice and went for a run. The realizations I had on this run became a turning point in my life. Details in Chapter 2, The Miracle Morning Origin, born out of desperation. And I had the inspiration to create a daily personal development routine that I hoped would enable me to develop into the person I needed to be to solve my problems and turn my life around. Incredibly, it worked. Virtually every area of my life transformed so fast, I called it my miracle morning. Fall 2008. I continued developing my miracle morning, experimenting with various personal development practices and sleep schedules, and researching how much sleep we really need. My findings completely shattered the paradigms and perceptions held true by most people, including me. Loving the results, I shared it with my coaching clients who loved it just as much. They told their friends, family, and coworkers about it. Unexpectedly, I began seeing people I'd never met posting on Facebook and Twitter about their miracle mornings. More on that later. 2009, my best year yet. I married the woman of my dreams. We got pregnant and gave birth to our daughter. Can I say we, or is that more of a she thing? My coaching business was thriving. I had a waiting list for clients. My speaking career took off. I was giving talks and keynote messages at high schools, colleges, and corporate and nonprofit conferences. The miracle morning spread like wildfire. I got emails every day from people telling me it was changing their life. I knew it was my responsibility to share with the world, and that writing a book was the best way to do that. Slowly, I began to write again. Make no mistake, I'm still no writer, but I am committed. As my good friend Ramashio Fulcher always says, There is always a way when you're committed. Taking your life head on. I share my story with you to offer evidence of what can be overcome and achieved, no matter how difficult your challenges are. If I could go from being found dead, told I would never walk again, going broke, and feeling so depressed that I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning, to creating the life of my dreams, there are no legitimate excuses for you not to overcome any limitations that have you want for your life? None. Zip. Nada. I believe it is crucial for us to embrace the perspective that anything another person has overcome or accomplished is simply evidence that anything, and I mean anything, you need to overcome or want to accomplish is possible for you, no matter what your past or current circumstances. It begins with accepting total responsibility for every aspect of your life and refusing to blame anyone else. The degree to which you accept responsibility for everything in your life is precisely the degree of personal power you have to change or create anything in your life. It is important to understand that responsibility is not the same as blame. While blame determines who is at fault for something, responsibility determines who is committed to improving things. Thinking back to my accident, while I wasn't at fault for the crash, I was responsible for improving my life, for making my circumstances what I wanted them to be. It really doesn't matter who is at fault. All that matters is that you and I are committed to leaving the past in the past and making our lives exactly the way we want them to be, starting today. It's your time. This is your story. Know that wherever you are in your life right now is both temporary and exactly where you are supposed to be. You have arrived at this moment to learn what you must learn so you can become the person you need to be to create the life you truly want, even when life is difficult or challenging. Especially when life is difficult and challenging. The present is always an opportunity for us to learn, grow, and become better than we've ever been before. You are in the process of writing your life story. And no good story is without a hero or heroine overcoming their fair share of challenges. In fact, the bigger the challenges, the better the story. Since there are no restrictions and no limits to where your story goes from here, what do you want the next page to say? The good news is that you have the ability to change or create anything in your life, starting right now. I'm not saying you won't have to work for it, but you can quickly and easily attract and create anything you want for your life by developing into the person who is capable of doing so. That's what this book is about. Helping you become the person you need to be to create everything you have ever wanted for your life. There are no limits. Grab a pen. Before you read any further, please grab a pen or pencil so you can write in this book. As you read, mark anything that stands out, which you may want to come back to later. Underline, circle, highlight, fold the corners of pages, and take notes in the margins so you can come back and quickly recall the most important lessons, ideas, and strategies. Personally, I used to struggle with this because I'm a bit of an obsessive, compulsive perfectionist and anal about keeping my things looking clean and neat. Then I realized that I needed to get over it because the purpose of a book like this is not for it to remain untouched, but rather to maximize the value we extract from it. Now, I mark up all of my books so I can revisit them anytime and quickly recapture all of the key benefits without having to read the entire book again. Okay, with your pen in hand, let's get started. The next chapter of your life is about to begin. Chapter 1. It's time to wake up to your full potential. Life's too short is repeated often enough to be a cliche, but this time it's true. You don't have enough time to be both unhappy and mediocre. It's not just pointless, it's painful. Seth Godin. You've got to wake up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. George Lorimer. Why is it that when a baby is born, we often refer to them as the miracle of life, but then go on to accept mediocrity for our own lives? Where along the way do we lose sight of the miracle that we are living? When we were born, everyone assured us that we could do, have, and be anything we wanted when we grew up. So now that you've grown up, are you doing, having, and being anything and everything you've ever wanted? Or somewhere along the way, did you redefine anything and everything to include settling for less than you truly want? I recently read an alarming statistic. The average American is 20 pounds overweight, $10,000 in debt, slightly depressed, dislikes his or her job, and has less than one close friend. Even if only a fraction of this statistic is true, Americans need some serious waking up. What about you? Are you maximizing your potential and creating the levels of success that you truly want in every area of your life? Or are there areas of your life where you're settling for less than you really want? Are you settling for less than you're capable of and then justifying that it's okay? Or are you ready to stop settling so you can start living your best life? You know, the life of your dreams. Creating your level 10 life. One of my favorite sentiments ever shared by Oprah was when she said, "The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams." I couldn't agree more. Sadly, so few people ever come close to living the life of their dreams that the phrase itself has become cliche. Most people resign themselves to a life of mediocrity, passively accepting whatever life gives them. Even people who are highly successful in one area, such as business, tend to settle for mediocrity in another area, such as their health or relationships. As best-selling author Seth Godin has so eloquently put it, is there a difference between average and mediocre? Not so much. There is nothing that says you have to settle for less than you truly want, just because everybody else does. You can become one of the few people that actually live the extraordinary life all of us deserve happiness, health, money, freedom, success, love. You really can have it all. If we're measuring success, satisfaction, and fulfillment in any area of our lives on a scale of 1 to 10, we all want level 10, right? I've never met anyone who said, nah, I just want level 7 health. I don't want to be too healthy and have too much energy. Or, I'm really okay with a level 5 relationship. I like fighting with my significant other, enjoy not having my needs met, and don't want us to be too happy. What if I told you that creating your best life, your level 10 life, and taking your levels of success, happiness, health, and financial prosperity beyond what you have ever experienced before is not only possible, it's simple? What if I told you that it all starts with how you wake up in the morning, and that there are small, simple steps you can start taking today that will enable you to become the person you need to be to create the levels of success you truly want and deserve in every area of your life? Would you get excited? Would you even believe me? Some won't. People have been jaded. They've tried everything under the sun to fix their lives, their relationships, and they're still not where they want to be. I understand. I've been there. Then, over time, I learned a few things that changed everything. I'm offering you my hand and inviting you to the other side. The side where life is not only good, it's extraordinary in a way we have only imagined it could be. This book builds 3 imperative arguments. You are just as worthy, deserving, and capable of creating and sustaining extraordinary health, wealth, happiness, love, and success in your life as any other person on earth. It is absolutely crucial, not only for the quality of your life, but for the impact you make on your family, friends, clients, co-workers, children, community, and anyone whose life you touch, that you start living in alignment with that truth. In order for you to stop settling for less than you deserve in any area of your life, and to create the levels of personal, professional, and financial success you desire, you must first dedicate time each day to becoming the person you need to be. One who is qualified and capable of consistently attracting, creating, and sustaining the levels of success you want. How you wake up each day and your morning routine, or lack thereof, dramatically affects your levels of success in every single area of your life. Focused, productive, successful mornings generate focused, productive, successful days, which inevitably create a successful life, in the same way that unfocused, unproductive, and mediocre mornings generate unfocused, unproductive, and mediocre days, and ultimately, a mediocre quality of life. By simply changing the way you wake up in the morning, you can transform any area of your life faster than you ever thought possible. But how? I'm not a morning person. What if you've already tried waking up earlier and it hasn't worked? I'm not a morning person, you say. I'm a night owl. There's not enough time in the day. Besides, I need more sleep, not less. That was all true for me too, before the miracle morning. Regardless of your past experiences, even if you've had trouble waking up and getting going in the morning for your entire life, things are about to change. The miracle morning works for everyone's lifestyle. I'll break it down in Chapter 8, Customizing the Miracle Morning to fit your lifestyle and achieve your highest goals and dreams. And you're going to be blown away by how much more energy, motivation, and time you're going to have. With increased productivity, significantly less stress, improved health, and way more vitality and joy. I know this because thousands of people around the world have already transformed their lives using the miracle morning. The ripple effects I've experienced in my life and observed from countless miracle morning enthusiasts are jaw-dropping. These newbie early risers, from entrepreneurs, salespeople, and CEOs, to stay-at-home moms, high school and college students, and everyone in between, are so excited about the profound, positive changes they've experienced that many are even posting videos about their results on YouTube, and then sharing them with their friends on Facebook and Twitter. How will the Miracle Morning transform your life? I've received hundreds of emails and messages from people about how the Miracle Morning has completely changed their life. For some, it has allowed them to tap into a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in their lives. For others, it's meant increased productivity, less stress, greater happiness, and increased income. For most, it's given them more purposeful, priceless time to pursue their dreams and the projects they've been putting off for far too long. Just read a few of the success stories in the opening pages of this book, and you will see the profound effects. You will see real-life results such as, my life is changing so fast I can't keep up. My business was struggling, but after I started the Miracle Morning, I was amazed at how, just by working on myself every day, I was able to turn it all around. And I'm on day 79 of the Miracle Morning and haven't missed a single day. This is the first time I've ever set out to do something and actually stuck with it longer than a few days or weeks. Even since starting the Miracle Morning 10 months ago, my income has more than doubled, and I am in the best shape of my life. And one of my favorites, I have already lost 25 pounds using the Miracle Morning. Increased income, improved quality of life, more discipline, less stress, and even weight loss. It's all here. I'm blown away by it, frankly, and humbled to be the lucky guy to have stumbled onto something that can so quickly and profoundly transform every area of your life. It doesn't matter if, until now, you've settled for less than you envisioned for any aspect of your life. Even if you've struggled in certain areas, I believe you're ready for a profound shift, a breakthrough to the next level, or you wouldn't be here. In the next chapter, I'm going to walk you through how I use the Miracle Morning to transform my entire life, starting from my lowest point, a failing business, buried in $425,000 of personal debt, deeply depressed, and physically in the worst shape of my life, to building multiple successful businesses, paying off 100% of my debt, more than doubling my income, and achieving my dreams of becoming an international keynote speaker, having my story featured in the best-selling Chicken Soup for the Soul book series, being interviewed on radio and TV shows across the country, and performing at my mental and physical peak by completing a 52-mile ultramarathon, all in less than 12 months. You'll also discover some not-so-obvious secrets that will make your success virtually guaranteed. The Miracle Morning is not only empowering, it's simple and fun, something you'll soon be able to do without effort for the rest of your life. And while you can still sleep in anytime you want, you might be surprised to find you no longer want to. I can't tell you how many people have told me that they now wake up early, even on the weekends, simply because they feel better and get more done when they do. Imagine that. Time and time again, practitioners of the Miracle Morning compare waking up every day to the feeling they had as a kid waking up on Christmas morning. It feels that good. Imagine how great it will be to start every day like that. Here are a few of the most common yet profound benefits you can expect to gain from the Miracle Morning. Wake up every day with more energy, feeling excited and empowered with the tools to fulfill your potential. Immediately lower your stress levels. Quickly overcome any challenges, adversity, or limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. Improve your overall health. Lose weight, if desired, and get in the best physical shape of your life. Increase your productivity and enhance your ability to maintain laser focus on your top priorities. Experience more gratitude and less worry. Significantly increase your ability to earn and attract more monetary wealth, if desired. Uncover and begin living your life purpose. Stop settling for less than you truly desire and deserve in any area of your life, and start living in alignment with your vision for the most extraordinary life you can imagine. I know these are bold claims to make, and this list of benefits might even sound like a bit of overpromising. A little too good to be true, right? I assure you there is no hyperbole here. The Miracle Morning will give you purposeful blocks of intentional, focused, and uninterrupted time each day to invest in achieving your most important goals and dreams, especially those you've been putting off. You can improve any area of your life. You'll be blown away by how quickly you see results and make progress towards your highest wants and aspirations. Don't be surprised when your friends, family, and coworkers begin to notice your positive transformation and are suddenly more drawn to you. I'm also going to give you the Lifesavers, 6 powerful practices which combine to make up the miracle morning and are guaranteed to save you from missing out on the extraordinary life you deserve to live. The one which, statistically, 95% of our society will sadly never experience. With your help, I believe we can change that statistic. Finally, you'll be ready to embark on the Miracle Morning 30-Day Life Transformation Challenge, which will develop the mindset and cement the habits you'll need to easily and continuously attract, create, and sustain the levels of success you desire and deserve in every area of your life. Never forget that who you are becoming is the single most important determining factor in your quality of life, now and for your future. Whether you consider yourself to be a morning person or not, you're going to learn how to make waking up every day easy, and you will begin forming habits of waking up with more energy and motivation than you've ever had before. By taking advantage of the undeniable relationship between success and early rising, you'll find that how you spend the first hour of your day becomes the key to unlocking your full potential and creating the levels of success you desire. You'll quickly see that when you change the way you wake up in the morning, you change your entire life.